Hello, everyone. It's Val Evans. Hope you're doing great tonight. And we are talking about Gwyneth and Meghan Markle. And I know you want to know the same thing that I do. I want to know, is this authentic? Are they really teaming up? Are they friends? Is one of them going to be betrayed by someone? We're going to be talking about betrayals today. And you can see that actually in your solar return chart. And I'm actually going to flip this over to the public just for the live, and then members can take a look at it on replay. Let me just fix it real quick. Yeah, it's all Scorpio. We're going to talk about some Scorpio themes that I'm seeing. And the subject matter tonight is celebrity predictions. I'm so shocked that people don't talk about the solar return chart more frequently because you can get such good predictions. So, Shauna, Angel, nice to see you. And Soda Pop's here. Glad you could drop in. KG's here. And yeah, Goop. I love the story of Goop, where she was trying to figure out, Gwyneth was trying to figure out what to name her company, and somebody told her that, well, all the really big companies have a double letter, like an O, like Google. So she did that, and I guess it worked for her. Hey, Bruiser, and yeah, I know. Well, hopefully I changed that. So yeah, we've got a whopping 17. Welcome, everyone. And if you're new to this show, please write in and tell us where you're from. It's always interesting to know. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at predictions. We're going to look at Gwyneth Paltrow's solar return chart, see what's coming up for her. Meghan Markle's. She's going to have an incredible year starting on her birthday in August. Huge changes for her that she thinks it's going to go one way, and I think there is a script flip for her, but still very exciting, I think. All right, so let me move on to the next slide, wherever it is. And it's all about Scorpio. When you're talking about your rising sign. Now, in your solar return chart, your rising sign is going to change every year, and it's how people are going to see you that year. And so if you have a Scorpio rising, which I believe it is Gwyneth that has the Scorpio rising this year, you might be talking about investments. You might be talking about eighth house matters. You're talking about trust, the trusts, the wills, and also potentially people who could betray you. Now, the way that you tell if something is going to be negative is the ruling planet. So you're really going to need to know all the ruling planets before you can really give this a shot. But once you do, and if you see something in Scorpio, you're going to I usually look to the modern ruler, which is Pluto. But you can look at Mars too. And that's going to determine if there's a bunch of red lines going through it. That shows that there could be some trouble when it comes to either jealousy, betrayal, or revenge. Maybe usually it happens when you're really successful and people just see you, and sometimes it can be a little bit dicey. So, well, here's the Scorpio rising I wanted to show you. God, my hair today, it's not cooperating. Can barely see. Okay, Aaron, I know. Thank you. Yeah, Shauna, how was your year? Scorpio 2023, 24. Yeah, okay. That's so weird, Shauna. The weirdest thing just happened. It was like I hopped out, went back, and it was Sloan Bella's chat, but Val's live. What in the world? So funny. I caught her Gene Wilder video yesterday. It's pretty intriguing. Makes me want to go back to the chart because she was hearing something. She was hearing something like it's about the land or something like that. And so I think we're going to have to do a follow-up for the Gene Hackman Astrology and Crime show. So if you haven't caught that yet, please take a look at it. And I also wanted to mention that I've got the Destiny calendars available again, and every once in a while I put them up. They are very, very low cost. So if you're interested in getting a first time reading, this is a perfect way to do it. And it's 6 months of predictions, and it's delivered to your inbox, all customized and personalized. Okay. And this is just a book reading. You can go to this website, astrologywithval.as.me. Okay. Angel, you said, I saw some weird fake headlines about Gene Hackman's daughter. I think they were AI generated. Yes, about the property. I was like, what? Because I think we saw some stuff. I don't recall that I said property, but there was just a lot of Pluto, which would make sense. We were talking more about the will. But yeah, God, I wasn't even expecting to turn that back around onto Scorpio, but there you go. And Pluto. Funny, funny. Yes, angel, jealousy, betrayal, revenge. Good old Scorpio. Yeah. All right. Now, so keep this in mind. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Martha Stewart's. This is old school. Her 2003-2004 solar return is wild. This is the year that she was, quote unquote, busted for insider trading. And of course, Scorpio is going to be her stocks. So it'll be all about stocks this year. And she would go to court, and eventually, I think, was it 9 months, 8 months that she had to do time. And it was absolutely traumatizing for her. I don't know if any of you caught the Netflix video, or the movie. It was riveting. But what I wanted to do, I made it kind of close up for you. I wanted to show you that the first step is to look at the chart ruler. And so we're going to look at Pluto if we look at her chart. So we have to find Pluto in the chart, see what it looks like. It's kind of like a doctor, you're sort of like assessing the data. Now, the first house here, it has 2 signs in it. A lot of houses are going to have 2, even 3 signs. And so that usually shows when your month is going to turn. Sometimes it turns for the better, sometimes it turns for the worse, sometimes it's about the same. So the ruling planet would go from Pluto to Jupiter within the first month of her solar return. Okay, so her birthday is August 3rd. So we assign the solar return chart as, its start, or the beginning is on her birthday, that first house. And so there it is. And wow, this looks quite intense with the opposition. Usually with something like this, you can see that something falls. And there's a couple of things that fell for her, but Neptune does mean incarceration. So the incarceration brings down her empire. And I mean, it couldn't be any more, literal here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to be moving around the dial till the main, I forgot to look up the date of the chart. Does anybody want to look up the date of, I'm sorry, the date of the trial? I think it was March, April. And that would have been 2004. So we're going to count all the way around. But first, let's look and see where Pluto is. And Pluto is right here in the second house. So this is all about her finances. And I mean, if you look at the simple chart with no aspects, it looks pretty good. It looks like, well, damn. I mean, she was at this point, I think she was, or at least a little before, maybe a year before, she was a billionaire. Her stock started going down. Also, this is a big one. When you have your chart ruler as retrograde, this is, you could be doing something really special, really strong, but you can't. And why for her? Because she was busy getting bullied. This would be a big theme for her that year, is getting bullied by the feds. They wanted some Martha Stewart for the books. And so Department of Justice came down pretty hard on her. I don't know what you guys think. I think she's guilty, but I do think that she was also a scapegoat. It was a little too much. They could have slapped her with a fine. So I believe the March time frame was March and April was the trial. But the point that I wanted to make, and let's actually add the aspects. Look how, like, that's a little different, right? So it's always nice to look at the chart in a simple way first, just to kind of get an idea of what's going on in general. But then you add these aspects and you're looking for some T squares. You want to see what the problem is. So here's a T square. There's a whole bunch. Um, let's see. I think, yeah. I mean, there's a T square where it's straight to her. So, I mean, you could see that this is going to be a real tough year. But what I thought was really interesting is we look at the 11th house for a friend. And the friend is represented by Mercury. And so the testimony by her friend, who it was a huge betrayal by a friend that year, and it was all based on a phone call, which is Mercury. Mercury is the messenger. And this lady, oh gosh, what was her name? It was Mariana Pasternak. And she was a long-term friend. Like, she was the godmother of Alexis Stewart, Martha's daughter. And I think Martha was also the godmother for Mariana's kids. And so during the Stewart's insider trading trial, Pasternak took the stand and testified that Stewart had knowingly sold her Imclone stock after receiving a tip that the stock price would drop, which implicated Stewart in insider trading. And so she really was the person who, I mean, was instrumental in putting her away. So it's just, I mean, it's absolutely shocking and completely not expected, I'm sure, by Martha Stewart. Okay, so I'm going to get to the next part of this in a second. Okay, 6-week trial. Okay, March 5th. Thank you, Shona. Found guilty. June 17th was sentenced. Okay, so the 8th house is when that's when she was found guilty. But then here was, I guess, the trial. And isn't it interesting that the North Node is conjunct alcohol? The devil degree also, you know what? I've been calling it the Versace degree lately because, you look at the Versace, um, I know I'm saying that wrong, but the logo, it's Medusa, and it's very tempting. It's a lot of wealth, and it's also losing one's head. So here is, you got that in the mix. So in this kind of context, you want to see the apex. You want to look at that planet there, and it's like Jupiter. What does Jupiter represent? Well, it represents the second house of money. So this is the whole point of this was maybe being a little devilish with the finances. And of course, the trial would land in the 8th house of investments. But what I really think is so interesting is right at the trial period, Mercury is activating. And my God, this opposition to Uranus and Mars there. This is a bomb that is being dropped by the friend. So you don't want an opposition with Uranus and something like this. You could probably see it coming if you were to look at this chart. Like, what is going on with your friend? And there it is. And it's actually in a T square too. Give or take. It's not perfect, but look at what's on the apex of this. This is the devil, devilish energy. And not only the devil, but it's conjunct Black Moon Lilith, which is, I don't care. I don't care if we've been friends for 20 years. You did this, and I don't have any remorse over, putting you away. And it's just like, who are you? You're not my friend. So this is happening. This is her friend, and that's the phone call. And it's just a bombshell. Uranus showing a shock. Mars is like, this is something that would make you angry, kind of like all of a sudden. Like, you'd really have to take a gummy after hearing that she was gonna take the stand because or something, somehow, a tall glass of water to manage your anger this year. But yeah, so that Pluto or Scorpio, and of course, Scorpio is in poor aspect right here. This is a betrayal. It's aimed right at the month of the trial. So, so crazy. All right, so I'm going to tie this in to some of the other charts here. Oh, that's right. That's why I didn't even mean to do that either. Um, yeah. Oh, whose chart are we looking at? Yeah, Martha's documentary. Hey, face painter. And yeah, Sierra user, she made the most out of doing time. I was impressed how Martha Stewart handled that. Yes, Netflix about her story was revived her career. Well, I mean, Snoop really did, and they have an amazing partnership. So she was able to transform over time. But there was a long period there. I mean, it was a decade, I think, where she said, "I lost my mojo." So I think a lot of people can relate to that. So the other thing I wanted to add to she was really depressed up until the time of the trial. I think it was at least a year where she was dealing with the lawyers, she was faced with this fear, and she got pretty heavy and just looked as if she was not paying attention to her health. And so she goes into this women's prison and she's totally depressed and they treat her terribly. She's used to being the queen. And there were also, by the way, bullying themes that came out because Martha Stewart, love her or hate her, she's been seen as a bully. She bullied her husband, allegedly, and she also bullied her staff. So, when you're the queen, you're going to be that's the other side of Leo. So you're going to see that. And so anyway, she's dealing with all of these things in prison, but when she comes out, she didn't really eat that much. And it's almost like she was able to shed her old self. I thought she looked great. So, not to say that you're not healthy if you got a few pounds on you, but hers was probably, and I think she even said that she was not paying attention to her health because of her depression. It's what happens. Um, Hey, Wanda, nice to see you. Um, who's that Sierra user? Oh, is this Alice Waters? Is that another bully? Yeah, whose chart are we looking at? Or are you talking about Snoop's? There you go, Snoop with 2 O's. Did pretty well for himself. And Martha's a Leo. No wonder she has amazing hair. That's so funny. You know what? I didn't put her birth chart up. Darn it. But yes, she's a sun in Leo. Okay. Now, I mean, this is a chart from hell, okay? But she got through it. She got through it. And so now I'm going to look at Meghan Markle's chart. This is her solar return chart. She's got Scorpio rising, and we're already seeing like I made this. This is so weird. I made this chart right before all of this charity business came out. Total double cross. I think somebody who's really coming out and blasting Harry and Meghan. So it was the chairwoman of their Sentibal charity. So you could see that there was going to be some kind of betrayal here. Now, it might not just be in that context, it could be something else, but we are actually in the middle. We're not here yet. We haven't gotten to April 4th yet. But there is a whopper here. And I would say that because you're seeing a square to part of fortune, but it's not just part of fortune. It is anything that is in Scorpio. It doesn't matter what you're looking at, okay? Which makes it kind of easier to read these things. You're like, what's the vertex? What does that mean? Doesn't matter. Is it in Scorpio? Okay, that's all you need to know. It's a person and it's somebody who you're going to have to deal with. Well, and it's going to be in the press. It looks like it's going to get pretty ugly, especially what do you know? with Leo. I mean, this could be Martha Stewart's chart for God's sake. So, ninth house is press. It's also court. So maybe there's threats, all that stuff. And the backstory is that it just wasn't possible. I think what happened, in my personal opinion, is that, if you're the chair of a charity, you got to be a little bit flexible. But there could have been some kind of veiled threats or types of things that happened where possibly people were like, okay, this is a red flag. We cannot work with this person because she's not doing what we think her job is, and she's speaking in this manner, which is possibly aggressive. Let's just cut bait, basically. So we're going to see what's happening here in April 4th and May 4th. Now, the whole point of this show is to talk about Gwyneth and Meghan and see how they really feel about each other. But I just wanted to take a look at her chart here. Meghan Markle is going to be so in the news here, but we also want to look at some of the good things too. So now the moon is up there. The moon is a benefic. And the sun is pretty good too. It is actually really well aspected with Neptune, the planet of photos and video and documentaries, and also the North Node, which means if it's well aspected like a blue line, oh, it's good. And yes, you're going to get something. The North Node, which is like, um, I'll show you on a better chart later, but North Node is like the horseshoe. That means an increase. South Node is a decrease. When it's all kind of like in a T square or in squares, it can mean just to be stuck in something. She has some really nasty 11th house stuff with Black Moon Lilith in the square. These are really these are trolls. These are trolls that she's having to deal with. But I mean, it looks pretty good. It also looks as if maybe she's getting extra famous with a blonde. So we've already seen that a little bit. But does Gwyneth mean it? Is Gwyneth really going to be a good, I don't know about a friend, but there's what I was talking about right there, that square. There's somebody here, and it might even come in. There might be another person that is kind of betraying or tries to betray. This is somebody who's foreign, the 12th house. So this could be that doctor. But I mean, we're really in this month still. The moon, well, okay, that makes sense. March 4th, yeah. As soon as Cancer activated, the moon activated. So she's already seeing ninth house activated. So how does that work? How do I explain it? I kind of need that chart, but I need it to not be shaded. I'll tell you about how to gauge the timing in a second. But here's the moon for Meghan Markle's chart, and it's opposing Pluto. So not only does she have a square to part of fortune in Scorpio, which is a person who's going to betray, but somebody tries to pull her down. And it is shocking. It's Aquarius. Aquarius means to cut, to quit. So lots of words about quitting and bullying. So she kind of has to deal with that. But as all of that is happening at the same time, there's something that's really positive. And it seems to me that it has something to do with television, beauty, and the beauty industry. I think she's making a fortune. I really do. So she's looking at her stats. And keep looking at the stats. Don't look online. Don't look right now at some of the headlines. But this does potentially look like there could be a court case with this lady. We're going to look at her and Gwyneth in a second. These are the Leos, the bullies. They're like, oh, boo-hoo. And a lot of people, they kind of do that. The journalists online, they mock. That's the mocking. And, you're always seeing a gaggle of them. Okay. So now I have this activated. This is a huge deal. And it kind of already came in a little bit here with Uranus, so it shows that Prince Harry was getting ready to quit. But there's definitely something here that is something that might be shocking. This is a queen. So it would not surprise me if there is an actual queen that is maybe telling her something that is kind of shocking. Now, is this Gwyneth? I think Gwyneth could be Venus. I think Gwyneth could be Venus. But there is something, it's a group of them. It's a group of them. And they're just not being very nice. But then, yet, there is one person, there's a trine here to Chiron in the fifth house. So I can't really see from Meghan's chart here, mostly because it's all shaded. But let me see. The 11th house, Mercury. Yeah, I think that there is a possibility that she could have a good partnership here with, and I'm not saying business partnership, but just kind of like a mentor type of thing. It's possible that there could be a sabotage type of theme, where it's like, well, I thought you told me that, to put all of my cooking content on the homepage. And, and that was wrong. It was a terrible business move, something like that, where she tells her all the wrong information. I don't really see anything like that, but I do see, and let's use the cards for this. I do see a breakup of some sort with the queen. And you know what I think? Based on Gwyneth's chart, I think Gwyneth might be betrayed by someone. Gwyneth might be taken out. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. So, all right, let me get over to, hey, Star Sleuth. Oh, Amber's here. Hey, Amber. I know. We're so happy you are done moving. It is such a project. Like, even moving one room, like, is just exhausting, let alone a whole house. So, um, yeah, I can't remember. Probably. And yeah, you like her cooking show? Yeah, why not? Bethany Frankel was on. She's like, well, first of all, you're like, you want her to be all flawed in order to like her. And then, now she's got to be Miss Perfect. Like, she's married to a prince. She can be perfect if she wants. Okay, yeah. Libra. Makeup tends to be Pisces and Neptune. But yeah, possibly. Libra is diplomacy. It is the beauty industry, and it's also musicians. Um, does Megan have a home range? I think she's coming out with one. Yeah, beauty or skincare. Okay, so I'm gonna do the cards, and it's definitely something that is broken here for Megan, and it's coming up. It's maybe something that she was excited about, that she wanted to do, and she can't do it. So does this have something to do with Gwyneth's brand? 10 of Wands. Packing up and moving on. Now, Goop is like, she's like, it's like a $200 million company. So, but that could mean that Megan's moving. And I keep getting that. In the next 12 months, I see Megan moving. And you know where I see her moving? I think could be moving back to the UK. That's kind of crazy, right? All right, so let me double check. Let me see if that could be possible. Is Meghan moving back to the UK? That would be a script flip for sure. Page of Swords. Whew. Looks like she's flying over there. Yeah, or maybe one of the kids is going over there. So, but it does mean an idea, a bright idea. So we'll have to see. I've got more charts we can look at to double check. The face painter. Yes, Shawnee, you need your glasses. You have, yeah, she's lover or hater, it's intriguing what she has to say. So, all right, so that's really interesting. But we were talking about Gwyneth, and we get 10 of Wands. But this is a brunette. It doesn't even look like Gwyneth. So I wonder who that is. I mean, it could be Gwyneth, but maybe there is some kind of move that's coming on. Maybe someone is changing something that has to change suddenly. I don't know. We're going to get more information, but let me look at these cards, these Black Moon cards, and I want to get a card for Gwyneth and Megan Sussex's potential collab. Gwyneth is very smart. She's not going to let jealousy get in the way. Okay. Oh, it looks like Destiny's going to get in the way. Destiny reversed, so you can see it there. Destiny. So let me get a clarifier card for this potential collaboration between Gwyneth and Megan Sussex. Whoa, 12th house, escape. So if I were to see these cards, I might just kind of wait till the year ends, the solar return year, before I make any really big moves. And there might not be any move, but it looks like something's faded that is happening. And I think we can get more into it with Gwyneth's chart. So I'm going to pull that up. But before I do, I wanted to show you this. This is Meghan Markle's 2025 chart. It starts in August. What do you say? You've got Aquarius rising. Now, Aquarius rising, I had that last year. There can be a lot of things that happen really fast. There can be some shocks and things that have to do with flying and changing. It's definitely change and surprise. And so that can sometimes be inconvenient. And I'm glad I'm showing you this now. This is an example. So we would look at Uranus for the first part of August. And then for the second part of August, we would look at where Neptune is right there. And that's how her month would change. So sometimes it can be really good. And then, oh God, what happened to the month? But it just depends on the ruler. So you have to know the rulers. And so yeah, so I just wanted to show how her solar return chart is in that first month. North Node having North Node in the first house is usually pretty good. Means you're receiving something. It can mean it's right in September. Sometimes it's when it's well aspected, it can mean getting the fairy tale. Well, not like she already hasn't, but maybe something else. Okay, so here's her solar return chart starting in August. Oops. And so here's the simple chart. And then if you put the aspects, there it is. So there's a lot longer of a read if you look at something like this. And of course, what would I do? For something like this, I would look at the oppositions. I would look for T-squares. And there's another opposition. Then there's some squares. But then you would also look at, good Lord, she's got some really great things coming up too. She's got some trines. She's got a point of Thales. She's got a mystic rectangle. I mean, that's good stuff. So it doesn't look all bad, but then the next step is once you've identified, as an example, a T-square, and the worst part of the T-square, or the reason of this issue is right here. It's a person, probably a worker, somebody who's like, I can't take it anymore. And they quit. Yet another quitting with Uranus here. And so when would that happen? Well, maybe around the holidays when Uranus kicks in. It could also happen between February and it's going to be probably March 2026, and then again on the other side of it between May 4th and June 4th. So that's how I would look at that. I would say if I wanted even more information, I would look at Uranus and I'd say, well, what represents Uranus? Uh, it represents her. So she is really breaking something. Again, this looks like another contract broken. Um, mm, I wonder if it could be a foreign contract. Let me see here. What's nice, okay, is that she has part of fortune next to it. When you got a T square and you got part of fortune in the middle of it and you got some blue lines, it's like, okay, I've got a choice. This is definitely getting cut off, but you know what? We're going to do this instead. And you get to shift. So all it means, it could be something kind of sudden, but really all it means is a change, a switcheroo. But what is really interesting to me in her chart, and we're going to get to Gwyneth in one second, Mercury retrograde this year in her 2025, starting in August chart, is William. And there's Uranus and a sextile um, to Mercury. So this could be a phone call. Remember the phone call of Martha's chart. But this is something like this looks pretty terrible, but then something else happens where they have to connect somehow. And this could have something to do. I mean, oh, here's the other thing that she's got. Look at this. Bam, she's got a nice grand trine. And the grand trine, it's when you've got alike, the elements are alike in the zodiac signs. So you've got air signs, lots of air, swift, the breeze, um, hmm, could be traveling somewhere, definitely a lot of TV. So she's got a lot of very positive things happening for her. But let's see where Gwyneth is. Now, Gwyneth, would she be a business partner or would she be a friend? She could also be a neighbor because they live down the street from each other. I think we should look at her as a neighbor. And look, it's Mars. Mars here in the 8th. And there's an opposition to Saturn. Again, there's something up with Gwyneth. She is, I think in the next couple months, she's going to have a betrayal. So I think she's going to be kind of busy. I really do. This is something that's like, ugh, I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to do that opening at Nordstrom, in wherever, but I can't because I've got to do this crap. So this is a stop. And it also, this is the second house, this also holds the financial part of that. So Saturn means to stop. Now, just based on this person, but she's got plenty of other options. She's like, all right, so we'll put it on hold. We'll do something else. What's really interesting too, which you can do, and I've mentioned this before, you can go on to your solar return and look for Algol. I do this every year because I want to know. I want to know what is up. Where could one lose their head? What month is it going to be? And for her, it is November 4th. And so you're going to look at Venus. Where's Venus? Venus is right here. It's in a T square. So, oh God, this looks like a famous woman to me. And in the 5th house. 5th house. So this could be a family member. Yeah. This is not good. So what you would do is kind of brace yourself. This is going to be coming in. Could be a sibling. And You know why? Because there's a square to Neptune. I always look for this. I'll look for the profile of the person if they're in like a wheelchair or if they're, if there's some kind of paralysis, that would be a square to Neptune. So, um, yeah. Jupiter also represents an older sister, an older sibling, but it's definitely a family member here, and trying to say something that's kind of fake, Neptune. So that's kind of happening between November 4th and December 4th, but she still has a lot of good, great stuff coming in financially. So she shouldn't, um, she shouldn't be too concerned about that. I mean, at this point, she knows what they're up to and what their number is. If you get my meaning, I mean, a lot of it is greed. Now, the sun rules Harry this year, and so you've got wow, that's crazy. You've got Harry, her husband, the seventh house lord, right next to Prince William. They've got to be somewhere together because they're sitting next to each other. They're literally sitting next to each other here. And there she is. It's like she cannot take part. Eek. And look what's at the top of the T square. Wow. Oh my God. This is horrible. Black Moon Lilith in a T square. I shouldn't say that because some of us have that this year. It's okay. It's just we focus on the blue lines. We know this is coming. We know there's going to be some kind of thing in the press, and it is a complete um what would be the word for that? Because you're going to add Aquarius, you're going to add Leo. It's bullying. It's definite bullying because of the square to Leo. Also, revenge. There could be, it looks like William's talking. Looks like William's talking about something. So we're going to need to pull some cards on Black Moon Lilith here. And Black Moon Lilith could also be a reporter, but possibly also the courts too. Ninth house, PR, and the courts. I know, Sierra user. It's sad. Yeah, thank you, Sierra user. Collaboration. Yeah, that's right. The Scorpio. Yeah, so much Scorpio. Yeah, we can see that. In fact, we looked at as ever. We looked at her job chart, so it should be in the file there. We looked at her job chart. Okay, you feel like Meghan would prefer to collab with Kylie Jenner. It's different age group though. I don't know. I don't think it fits. Gwyneth isn't scared of controversies, that's for sure. She's gonna go to court if she has to. Sierra user, you said, I'm in California. We all got a map of fire zones. Montecito looks really bad for fire risk. I'm in San Francisco Bay. Okay. You heard William is behind that, doctor. Oh my God. What? That's just got to be a rumor, right? That would be horrible. And that would be this. That would definitely be this. Now, charities are the 12th house. So we've got the 12th house and it's in Capricorn, which makes sense. Saturn is here. Whoa. This is the charity person. Look at this. This is William, and there's a trine there. They at the very least know each other. It looks like another strike. Okay. That makes sense. And why do I assign Mercury as William? Because you would count 11 houses from the 7th, and that would be Gemini. So the twin, that would be Mercury. And then you look to see where Mercury is, and that's William. So here's the king right there. And wow, whatever he's doing is super famous. Look at the moon there in the 10th house, in her 10th house. What's really weird is that there's something really positive happening here. It seems like finances. I wonder if every time something is said by the kingdom, she makes money here. So Saturn is the government. Saturn and Neptune is an old photo. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is all Princess Diana stuff. This is Princess Diana's house. So yeah, oh my God, so much more Diana stuff. Okay, so now we're getting to Gwyneth. Gwyneth, she started her birthday September 27th. So we would look at her 2024, 2025 chart. So you press on 2024. And what do you know? What do you see? The chart ruler is Venus. And it's in Scorpio. It's not aspected very well either. So there's somebody in here. There's a female of scorpionic types of, or scorpionic kind of profile. And it is in a T-square with, let's see, did I do this right? Yeah, there we go. With the moon, Pluto. This is a very, very jealous woman. And T-square here. Oh, I was going to pull a card on William and the Black Moon Lilith. But I'll just look at this real quick. This is, this might have something to do with investments or property. It's a Scorpio thing, but there is somebody who, what's weird is that it is the chart ruler and people could see her as the jealous person. So there could be something coming up where, sometimes social media calls out celebrities for looking a certain way or whatever. She might be branded this year as being jealous for, whether it's because of Meghan Markle or whatever reason. But yeah, so I did some dates here, and April, we're in this territory here. So then around, I want to say it's going to be April 15th. We're going to go from Mars and we're going to move to Venus because Venus rules Taurus. And so that's when it activates. It's going to be around in a couple of weeks. Something happens and it's going to keep potentially Gwyneth pretty busy. It's funny how it's starting to move towards Algol, as well as the 8th house, which we know is investments, jealousies, properties, that kind of thing. But as it is all happening, and it looks like a betrayal, check this out. This is a huge grand trine. Only people like Gwyneth Paltrow get these. Sheesh, must be nice. These are a lot of musicians. There's something online that's coming out, and it is like people are obsessed with it. So it could be something that has to do with Chris Martin. So yeah, looks kind of ugly up until you get till about, I would say, mid-May. And something really nice is happening there. I'd like to draw cards for what is so wonderful that's happening for Gwyneth here. And Uranus represents the 5th house of family. So this could be something like people are seeing her doing something musical, maybe with her family. What is this nice grand trine that we're seeing for Gwyneth Paltrow? And 6 of Swords. Okay, how about a clarifier card? I mean, it could be something in a marina, but I don't like that reversed. What's going on with, this could be this first part of the month, mid-April, that she's having to deal with this person. And that lady has black, like raven hair. I mean, we're talking raven hair. That's Scorpio. So what's a clarifier card for 6 of Swords when we're talking about this grand trine for Gwyneth? 2 of Swords reversed. Well, that could be positive, being able to make a decision. So it looks like there's going to be some kind of decision being made. Is that possible? What is this decision that Gwyneth Paltrow is going to be making? Why is it? It looks pretty big. Ace of Pentacles. So maybe a new venture, possibly. Maybe it's online. I don't know. So hey, Inga. Gwyneth sang in that movie Duets many years ago. That's right. God, you've got such good institutional knowledge. And okay, yeah. Oh, after that, the doctor appointed Williams people as the new trustee. Don't know if Chair can do that though. What? You've got to be kidding me. Oh my God. Wow, we've been talking about revenge for so long. That would be, oh my God. That's crazy. So this is really about William and Prince Harry in a sense, but I thought it was really interesting too that Gwyneth was saying that people always ask her about Brad Pitt and dating Brad Pitt because it was like dating Prince William. So it's funny that she would say that in the press, something about a prince, and then weeks later she would be having the Duchess over for pie. So yeah. Maybe your daughter's going to sing. Yeah, that's possible. That would be nice. Thanks, Inga. Lullaby, lullaby. Actually, everybody says I broke up with a guy because every time I talked, he would fall asleep. I swear to God, it was horrible. But now I've been able to transition that into something positive. All right, so we need more about Meghan and Gwyneth here. And let me see what else I have. Yeah, there's a lot of bullying here at the end of April. It could be something, her daughter was just, oh, wait, hold on a sec. Sorry. Yeah, right here. Remember her daughter was like accused of being a bully. It's just going to happen when you've got that so much Leo in your family. You're going to get bullied. Somebody's going to accuse you of being the bully. And yeah, this could be some people coming out and saying that, maybe could be contractors or people she has collaborated with. And the reason I say that is because the collaboration people, the partners, they're in Mars this year or they're in Aries this year. And check this out. Hold on. You're going to see, if you've got all these red lines to Mars, you're going to see who's really upset or what upsets you. And it looks like partners. So this is going on right now. And I wonder if her partners are getting upset because she might be partnering with the Duchess. But it looks pretty heated here. It could also be kind of angering Gwyneth as well. And she might even be saying that she's angry. Like, I see all the stuff that's happening and being said about Meghan Markle, and I just want to bake her a pie. And it really upsets me and that kind of thing. So she could be talking about being mad. But still, this is going to be a difficult month for her. What month is that again? Yeah, March 27th. So yeah, we're already into this month. So I would say till about maybe April 12th or something. And so something happens where it's pretty heated. It's kind of abusive, actually. I'm going to go to the Black Moon cards. Can you give us some kind of clue on what this very, very intense, aggressive, angry person is? It looks like a partner, but can you give us kind of some kind of clue on what this is for Gwyneth Paltrow? Somebody's mad or somebody who is making her mad. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Ninth house. Journalist. I think it's a journalist. Or maybe somebody's taking her to court. And we've got the water element. So sometimes that can be, it could have something to do with a special setting spray, something like that. Could be bottled water that she wants to sell, or it could just be something that has to do with like fake, or it could also be like a photo. Those are my guesses. Okay, KG, thank you. Sussex Squad has been buying Goop products to thank Gwyneth for supporting Meghan. That's nice. And they should. Because, it's, it's difficult to, somebody's your competitor and you still, come out with some good things to say. Even though they're saying that she was shading, but they wanted to, I thought it was great. Like for both of them, oh my God, can you imagine the promotion that was? What are you saying, Angel? Okay, I heard the doctor called Charles and then asked William for a replacement. Okay. Oh my God. So it's almost like they're fighting over their mom's charity. This is complicated. That would just be the worst, wouldn't it? That's what you call revenge. Okay, now still talking about Gwyneth and Meghan. I'm going to get a card for what. Give us some more detail on. Yeah, isn't that weird? We got the ninth house card, and Mars is in the ninth house. Hold on. Kind of crazy. There it is. But it kind of looks like somebody's getting hurt too. Could this have something to do with maybe Gwyneth hurting herself? She's hiking and drinking at the same time and texting. Is this a wound that Gwyneth is having to deal with? Because you're looking at Chiron there and you're looking at Mars. That can mean a break of, a bone. Okay, I've got 4 of Swords. And a clarifier card for this. Maybe just emotional pain. Maybe somebody said something that hurts. Sometimes that can be the case. Mars in Cancer is kind of abusive talk. So can you give me more information on why Gwyneth Paltrow would have this square to Chiron, this pain? 8 of Swords. So that could be something she is kind of stuck in something. And they always say with the 8 of Swords that you can get free, but it's just going to be you've got to like wiggle out of it slowly. It's a slow escape. So that'll be interesting. There's also 2 people there. So maybe trying to get out of a contract. That could be it. So much Libra there. And with, that's a breaking of a contract right there. Mars square Libra. So, and could have some kind of court type of theme to it. So, so really we're past this now, but this was a really, really tough one between February 27th and March 27th. I don't know if we know what that is. This could be something kind of private. It's so interesting how during this month, this solar return month, there's a trine to the moon in Leo. That's Meghan. That's like reaching out to her. But there is a fight that's happening that we don't know about. So this could have been kind of like a crappy month, but then the Duchess made the month and, she was able to feel a little bit better about it. But, Neptune is also video of her in her kitchen and retrograde. It wasn't that glamorous, but she was also on Vanity Fair, on the Vanity Fair cover. So there was something positive, I think, that came out of that photo, which you can kind of see. Yes. What does it say? I wonder what that title said on Vanity Fair. Gwyneth. It'd be funny if it had something to do with like the Queen or something. There's so much Leo. No, it's Gwyneth's World. And let me see. Okay. So I'd have to read the article. God, she has some good covers, I'll tell you. Wow. But it just looks like Gwyneth's World. So that would be ninth house. Okay. You love Dolly. Yeah, Dolly Parton. Another successful woman who stayed true to herself. She's amazing. Maybe if Meghan can find her niche, she will gain respect eventually. It's such a struggle. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, that's a very good point. Remember the absolute horrible time the press would give Victoria Beckham. She never gave up, and look at her now. That is such a great example. And I think it's going to be the same thing for Meghan Markle. And don't forget the fans, too, how they just said horrible things to her over the years. I was thinking about her, too, because there's so much Leo that's associated with Victoria Beckham and her family. She's always talking about her family. Family is Leo. But also sports. They're always going to the king's house for dinners. And Victoria is also the name of a queen. So makes sense. Okay. Now my mouse is giving up on me. Hold on one second. I knew this was going to happen. So yeah, Victoria Beckham is a great example. And but look at that opposition there, the opposition with Libra. This is not being able to get out of something. When you have an opposition with the South Node, and it can also mean despair over something. Now, the Sun rules her 11th house, so that could be a friend. A friend is giving her a hard time about something, a friend and a contract, maybe. I don't know. So let's hopefully this is going to work. My mouse doesn't work, which means I can't end this show. So I'm going to be probably talking all night. But what do I think about them possibly collaborating? I think there's going to be, judging from their charts, it just seems to me that they're both going to have some interruptions. So it's going to be kind of hard to have a consistent collaboration. It's not impossible, but you can definitely see, Moon is at 8 degrees in Leo. That's Meghan in Gwyneth's chart. And 8 degrees is Scorpio. Monarchy. If it's in good aspect, I don't think it's going to be jealousy. Let's see if this works. Oh, when is retrograde over? I might just have to turn off my computer, but yeah, it looks like the 10th house. I think that Meghan is really going to make a difference in Gwyneth's sales somehow. They had to let a bunch of people go over at Goop, didn't they? I think they did. I don't know. All right. Everything's frozen here. Can't even see. Oh, yeah. You said you were going to pull a card for William. That's right. Thank you. So it looks like Gwyneth is kind of tied up, literally. So let me see. I can turn this off. I wonder if it needs a battery. I don't know. I think I've got another mouse around here somewhere. All right, so I'm going to do a card for William. Is he behind this? I mean, this isn't part of the Gwyneth Meghan show, but I need to know. Is he behind this horrible, horrible? It is a sabotage, I think. This change at the charity is William and Charles behind this, behind Prince Harry stepping down. Page of Cups, no. And can I get a clarifier? Ooh, Death card. So it's just, I think it's just a normal transformation. Maybe he's going to have to just get out of this. Sometimes we get taken out, even though it's very painful and humiliating. Sometimes we get taken out of these things because there's something new coming in, and he can't be doing that. That's what I've learned anyway. So anyway, sorry about my Mercury retrograde moment. And Plum Tart, you said, I'm thinking the world's going to get real sick of the rich ladies shilling overpriced goop to the public. I think you got a point there. Yeah, all talking about how I started out, in my billionaires circle. There is a level of, emotional intelligence and reading the room. So I agree with you there, because we're going to go into a recession, and these types of brands, I mean, we'll see how it goes with how the economy goes. It's possible it's going to be like the Louis Vuitton, are people really buying the bags anymore? All right. So I think I'm going to have to say goodnight because my mouse is not working. Elf, as you said, it seems this year Harry's weakening as Meghan is getting stronger. A shame. He had a good year last year. Yeah, I totally agree with you. She's, and except that little comment and those pictures that just came out, I think today, of her on camera or in front of the cameras. It makes her look camera like she's hogging the cameras. Thanks, face painter. So it was not. I'm sure they're irritated. I would be, that's for sure. Like, who does she think she is? But I think this lady is probably. Let's see what's behind this. What's the real story behind this lady? I think it's just getting on the offensive before anyone else. But what's going on really with this doctor lady? Six of Swords. So, just kind of wants to leave it behind. Getting a lot of boats lately. I wonder what that's all about. And can I get a clarifier card? What's up with this this lady? What's the real story behind her stepping aside? Temperance. I mean, that's wanting to be calm, balanced. I think it's possible there could have been, you can't have two queens on the throne, and there might have been a little bit of competition, I think, possibly. Thanks, ear user. I know, Star Sleuth. I'm trying to come on a little bit more. And all right, well, if I can ever get my mouse fixed, I will see you again tomorrow. I'm going to look at Gene Hackman's chart again, and maybe I'll throw in an earthquake show or something to take a look at what happened there in Myanmar. It's crazy. I mean, over 1,000 people died, I think. So it's crazy. So, well, anyway, thank you guys. And I will see you. Oh, yeah. And by the way, make sure to catch me and Amber tomorrow. We're going to do our royal show. So we'll have more to talk about with regard to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Meghan Sussex.